It's quite brilliant. A lot of this is part of my regular conversations, which has nothing to do with the podcast.
No, that's the so I always say podcast is just a vehicle. At the end of the day, if you do YouTube videos, if you do SEO optimized articles, whatever, it is content. The thing that we like, and that's why we focus on this, is podcast is going to allow you to do all this and build those relationships, which when you think about it, very few do, except for speaking to conferences that are recorded, because there you get to interact with people and you get the content as well. But it's not intimate, it's not one-on-one. So pros and cons to it.
And the podcast also gives you, as you said earlier, the name drop ability.
100%.
That's incredibly important.
I agree with you.
And you can do the name drop without name dropping, because sometimes when you name drop, it makes you look like you're bragging.
100%. But so that's so it's so funny you'd say this, and I like that you put the focus on this during the mastermind. This is something that takes months, right? Roddy is with us for like 6 or 7 months now. When you talk about a podcast to someone who has never done it, it's like they want to return in 3 months. And that's why we shifted from, we're going to build a brand and so on. Now I'm like, we're going to build a brand, but that's going to take 3 years. In the meantime, let's get you some clients. But like on our first podcast, we just interviewed the #1 in liquidity at Citibank. Like you get access to names that you wouldn't. And I'm a French guy with a weird accent and an approximate English, interviewing the head of liquidity at Citibank, just because you've built a very narrow niche audience. So you're 100% right. It is important.
And the other thing that I found is people always love talking about themselves and what they do.
Yeah, that's it. So you're 100% right. The thing that we try to do is to make it useful for the audience still, because people love to talk about themselves, but then that's not like the highest value for the audience. So if you can frame this in the context of like, introduce yourself so that the audience knows that you're legit to talk about what we're going to talk about, the business of consulting, finance in fitness, healthcare, whatever. This is where you have your hook to get people to talk about themselves and then showcase expertise that is useful for the audience.
If you run a professional services firm and you are not growing as fast as you'd like, then I'd like to give you a free gift. My team and I have put together the B2B Podcasting Secrets Playbook, which is basically 3 years of my teams and I knowledge, solving branding and lead generation for good for professional services firms. So if this is you, then your business growth is directly linked to the number and the quality of the relationships that you're able to build with actual decision makers, also whilst building reputation and brand. And we got pretty good at helping people like you do exactly that using podcast. So the playbook has 9 sections, from how to even position it, to finding the first guests, how to transform content and guests into clients, all the way up to becoming the #1 influencer in your space. It includes visuals, videos, text and templates, and case studies relevant to each and every section. And if you want to go even faster, then on the thank you page, you can book a call directly with my team and we will look at your firm, see if we can help. And if so, we'll put together a tailored plan for your specific podcast that you can use and implement.